is on a cruise.
See, who do I have? Oh, I have Jared and I have Charles. Oh, good. All right.
Hello.
Hello, Jared. Hello, Charles.
Fire camera again, it should be.
Just wanted to make sure you guys were there before we started, because then if I ask for a quorum, I don't have one, and then I can't do anything. Then I might as well go.
All right, we gotta disconnect and come back in so the camera catches.
Here, you want to jump on it, so holds the meeting.
It seems to be working. Are you trying to get
Can you
Jacob's
see?
camera?
Can you see us?
We can see you, yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Oh, there, it's just on the new.
Good to know. Good to know. Dee-dee-dee. Oh, look, we have all kinds of camera positions.
Yeah, it just pulled out to the whole room.
Whole minute.
Yeah.
Are we sticklers for time to care? It's close enough. It's 6 o'clock or darn close to it. Oh, look, it zooms in on me. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the big old CROA workshop. And actually, it's not that big a CROA workshop. Jared. Does that make you happy?
It does.
Let me call the meeting to order. And we have a quorum? Yes, we do. And because we have some voting things. So motion to adopt the agenda. Any changes or anything?
Did you want to amend
No,
it to?
I don't care anymore. We talked. What was I gonna say? Oh, all those in favor? Aye. Action items. A, motion to approve landscaping improvements on Academy Row by AES in the amount of $14,087 from the Service Area Reserve Fund as recommended by the Service Area Committee. Charles, do you have anything to say? Or Jared? Motion? Second. Anything that we need to know about, Charles?
I can say that this is an initiative by they want to get this work completed before school starts back in session, and that's why you're seeing it on a workshop.
Got it. All right. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nobody. B, a motion to approve 2025 gutter cleaning for service areas by Portugal Partners. Are they really from Portugal? I just was wondering. In the amount of $25,035, motion?
Motion. Second.
A second? Jared, I'll make you the second. Any discussion? All those in favor of it? Aye. Any opposed? Motion to approve removal of multi-factor authentication for town hall emails.
I'll motion. I have follow-up commentary to my previous comments.
Okay, second?
A second.
Seconded? Yes, sir. Your comments.
I made the comment before of removing multi-factor authentication. That is incorrect, and I didn't mean it. I was confusing information at the time. We do need multi-factor authentication. We are currently at every 2 week needing to re-verify. And to Eric's point, because Eric said we shouldn't remove it, and I agree with Eric's point when he said that last time. It needs to be less than every 2 weeks, and I think a standard practice is 90 days is a typical standard practice. Does management have a recommendation on this?
We discussed it and we have a 90-day recommendation.
Okay, so we'll amend the motion to 90 days. Does that work?
Yes.
Charles has his hands up.
Charles?
So I continue to be confused by this. Did the technology committee review this and opine?
They postponed their meeting this week, so they have not met next week.
So why are this should go before the technology committee if they haven't had a chance to look at it, in my opinion. So I will be voting against this if we are taking a vote today on it, if they have not had a chance to opine, which is typically how we go about this, where the appropriate committee would be engaged on it.
Okay, so right now the motion is for 90 days. It has not, that was management's recommendation. We've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, thank you. Future consent items for discussion. CCFC landscape vendor. Is this you guys or who is this?
Yeah, this is us. If you guys have any questions about it or, the recommendation from management, based on our review and Christian specifically is to go with United.
Okay. Recommendation from management is to go with United. This will become an action item
Yes, sir.
at our next meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for management on this?
Charles has his hand up.
Charles?
Can we have United come in for a brief Q&A potentially?
Yes, we certainly will before final approval, like we did with the pool vendor.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
All right, that's not a voting item.
No.
Adopt the MRTA resolution notice.
So the summary from Charlie was in your cover sheet. Did anybody have any questions about the reasoning behind it? It's basically to ensure that you maintain all the deeds and restrictions on all CROA properties that were supplementally added into the charter.
So it's housekeeping,
Yes.
basically. Any questions about that? Anyone? Okay, cool. Discussion items, the celebration resident emails. Hey, whose is this?
So this was management and the technology committee together. These emails are utilized by a handful of residents, approximately 30 people, I believe. It costs us about $50 a month.
Her?
No, in
Okay.
total.
Total.
And it's one special benefit for a small subset of people. It also causes some back-end issues on the domain side for the IT department.
So there's a recommendation from tech.
Yeah, to end date these. We would need to do some messaging before this would come back for full approval from the board.
These are the ones left over from when.
From when you first moved in, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
From what I understand though, dating back, so the residents, they had the emails when celebration first started. And then there was some communication way back that then it would be going to a third party. And they were paying the $60.
$60 a month each.
The
Yeah.
residents had the option to opt in. So the ones that wanted to keep it, kept it, signed a waiver, they paid the money. And then they weren't notified, this was before Green Rangers, they weren't notified that they would be going back to celebration.
That company went out of business.
Mhm.
And my understanding is the townhouse at the time and the residents at the time did not know they were going out of business. So they figured out a way to keep them using the Google Suite and keep the emails alive. There was some discussion apparently at the time about them continuing to pay town hall for the use of those emails, but nothing ever came of that. And it's just been a standing thing since we've started.
I think rather than just like ending it, since it's something that had started from the beginning and that the ones that kept it, they were willing to pay and you know, it's still here. And I'll be to see what they think and where they're at. You know, is it something that they still utilize? Is it something that they would still
I know
want to pay for like previously?
There's at least a handful that avidly use the emails, and if it goes down for whatever reason, they are Johnny on the spot and contacting us. I'm not opposed to reaching out to all of these residents and saying, would you be willing to cover the cost of this subscription for your accounts? And then we can just phase them out as people exit.
And they can take it over with Google.
No, they would have to pay town hall because
Okay.
we would still have to manage it because it's still part of our domain.
Is there another third party that could be used was used?
I would have to look into that, but I know there's some domain control issues. And what was it, a couple of years ago when we were dealing with trying to get the website domain back, and there's 3 different domains that are tied to each other. It's a little bit out of my depth from the tech world perspective, but I can get that information.
I think like ultimately, it's kind of, the way I look at it, it's kind of like a customer service thing. Like they were promised something and I feel like we have to figure out a way to make it work.
I can tell you, we were not promised that for life.
Mhm.
I was original batch. I wasn't promised that celebration.fl.us.
to keep it when it was changed originally, when there was a change.
Yeah. Again, I don't think that there was any perpetuity to it. It's just one of the, and the fact of the matter is we don't have a lot of people using it. If there's a way to get all our costs covered,
Mhm.
all of our costs covered, including the labor for when things go down, that all has to be factored in. Then I would have no problem with the residents paying for it, but to continue to provide it for them. And again, I think Tech's probably recommending it because it's pain.
Yeah. There's some back end issues with the domain or just some,
Was there a full recommendation from the committee? Because I also heard that it was tabled.
they've talked about it a couple of times and then they've made a full recommendation, is my understanding.
Okay.
But I don't.
But this is not an action item right
No,
now.
it's not an action. I don't see an issue with us saying, because I don't want to pull the rug out from under the individuals that avidly use these accounts, because I know they're very passionate about having the at celebration.com email. I don't see an issue with having them pay for the service, and those who don't want to pay, we can phase them out. The biggest concern we saw from a non-tech management team was we're providing a service for some, but not all.
Mhm.
Right, and that's, to me, that's another big issue is that, well, if they can have celebration.fl.us, why can't I have Celebrate? No. But why do 12 or 15 or 30 people get the old address and the rest of us have to go get our own Google address and pay for it?
Charles has his hand up.
Yes, Charles.
I agree with Don. And again, I think this is more problem than it's worth. And frankly, if it's taking up time from a management perspective, which I'd imagine it does, but I'd have to think there are vendors out there that could just take this on maybe on like a direct bill basis, or we just totally just give them everything and they just bill the homeowners directly. Like, can we just like find a way to just wash our hands of this, let them bill it, and then get it off our books altogether?
No, because we own the domain. Because we run the domain, Charles.
Can we sell
The celebration.
Can we sell it? Can we just get rid of it? Well, it's the email, right? Okay. All right.
No, I'm talking about the domain though, means that we can't hand off, Dawn at celebration.fl.us to me.
Got it. I still think nonetheless, like to the extent we could try to like just build them direct anything to like, again, streamline this and cut out the management lift and effort. I agree with what we're saying.
We'll reach out to the residents that use it, get their feedback, and then depending on that we'll workshop it with, as management, and then we'll bring it back to the board.
That sounds perfect. Oh, in the back. Yes, sir. My neck won't turn that way.
Sorry. Are we talking about the domain that you told us as committee members we had to have? Celebration?
No. We're talking,
That's a subdomain.
that's a subdomain. We're talking about the old original celebration.fl.us. From yeah. Okay, tree preservation policy. Whose is that? Is that yours? Charles? Charles!
Yeah, hi. So I sent it actually to Lauren and Jacob last night. I got a little sidetracked. So I think there's probably not going to be a lot to discuss today, but I was able to come up with, let me back up a little bit. As long as I've been on the board since 2023, I've seen us go through several iterations of cutting down trees, whether it be, I think it was a little before me at the East Village Playground, Deer Woods in favor of a butterfly garden. There was a recent one, I think by Academy Row, and then I know we just went through Longmeadow. And it seems we don't have necessarily consistency around how we're selecting trees, and sometimes it seems to be anecdotal. Sometimes we get, yeah, we're going to bring in an arborist. I got to tell you, and I know we're being recorded, and that's fine. I really was very concerned about when Brian made the comment at, I think, month and a half ago. I had asked about an independent arborist, and he made the comment about if he paid $300, would we then accept his opinion? And I thought about that a little bit more, and I thought that really, he just doesn't get it. And so and just thinking about the totality of everything that we've seen and trying to maybe put some guardrails and best practices in place, I came up with hopefully a pretty quick and straightforward policy that hopefully you all can take a look at, digest it, Come back with any edits, thoughts. Obviously, you know, if you don't like it, we can vote against it, vote in favor of it, but just something that gives us some rules and things for management to adhere to. Because I think we've reached that point now where, and this is not just a reaction, I would say, to the community. Obviously, people do get upset when we cut down trees, but I do think we do need to put some parameters in place. So.
Okay, would that be something management's interested in looking over and seeing if
We can
It makes
provide
sense.
commentary on it.
okay, that'd be great. How about them providing commentary, Charles?
Good deal.
You have a comment, the audience as well?
Oh, yeah. Here,
So you won't get crossways with CCDD. They've been working on a tree policy for the better part of 2 months. I recommend that you get their current draft and reconcile the two so that we're not talking two different programs.
that's a good idea. That's a good
and
idea.
I wrote,
That-
yeah, that's a good idea. And I did, obviously you'll need to be redlined a bit, but it was very specific about common area trees and not residential trees or easement trees. But to Gary's point, we probably do want to get their eyes on it.
Yeah, having a similar policy to CCDD, since we're talking public trees and basically public trees. Because we're not talking about homeowners' trees, we're just talking about those under our right of way, and to match it up with theirs probably makes sense because they do a whole lot more tree work than we do.
Yep.
Okay, cool. On to C, posting continuing education certificates. Are we gonna post the continuing education certificates?
I don't think that,
What,
I don't think that it's necessary to post them. It's just like everything else. It's a records request is reasonable.
okay,
But we post the code of conduct. We post. So I mean, in the interest of transparency,
I'm happy to provide mine to anyone that would like to see them.
well, why don't we just put them all up? I don't understand what's the. We post the code of conduct. We post a lot of things. Why don't we just do it as a good faith effort to show that we've complied?
There's two thoughts on why I think it's better to do it via public records request is one, I don't want to, for one, management also gets these certificates. Is it something that we're going to then require that management post theirs when they do their trainings? And
how
then
about this?
also one more thing. For some reason, I have 12 hours now of credits and like everyone's at a different.
Yeah, that's why, let me give you my idea. Why don't we just, on our bios, how would this be? We just say completed Florida required board courses
Right.
or whatever.
That sounds great.
Whoever doesn't want to post them, I'll post mine gladly.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is they're just weird little certificates that
There's no standard.
there's no SG, yes, there is no standard.
Yeah, but folks, that's selective transparency and it's cognitive dissonance. If you're just going to sit here and say we're not going to post it, you can't say transparency if you're going to pick and choose it. So
Yeah,
all right.
you can, Charles. I think if you're saying we met the requirements of the state.
That's fine. I call BS on that.
Just, I mean, those certificates are goofy. That's like the ones you got in elementary school because you participated in the track meet. The certificate tells you nothing. But if we finish the required coursework, that tells you that we're legal.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we have all right. Let's just put them,
Tonight for,
we can make it an action item and vote on it, or
do you want us to just put?
just find out what we should put legally to say we've legally, yeah. 2026 budget. I assume this is a presentation of a rough draft of a rough budget.
Yes. If
Before you-
Go
Sorry,
ahead, Jerry.
I was just going to say, so you can finish typing what you're working on. I was going to, I know we don't have our chair of the finance committee here tonight. And so I did want to recommend that going forward, because historically we typically have several budget meetings, and this is the very first, so this is very high level. I want to recommend as the liaison that we make the next two finance committee meetings joint meetings so that we're not making the board the joint meeting. We're making the committees meeting the joint meeting so that we can continue budgets, keep moving along, because it's already July and historically this is done by June. We're starting in June, so we're already a little behind, and there was discussion about delaying this. And I know nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to be transparent. So I just want to recommend that we make the next two, which is the following two Tuesdays, I believe, the finance committee meetings, joint meetings for continuing this budget conversation after today.
So those will be noticed and run as an official CROA meeting?
Yes,
Yes, a
it's a
joint
joint
CROA finance.
Okay, yeah.
Scheduled for the 15th and 22nd. The 15th is prior, the main focus is the reviewing the June financials and then
And the reserve study contribution.
Okay,
And then the
I have a conflict on the 22nd. I can't be here.
the 22nd is primary, is just a budget discussion
Okay,
or workshop.
15th, I won't be.
15th,
Those are the meetings those are finance meetings that are already scheduled into the dates that Jared
15th,
mentioned.
so that's next Tuesday. The 22nd, I'm gone out of town.
And these aren't final either. We the final meeting is going to come to a board meeting, board workshop and meeting, but just to keep it going and keep it transparent to make those.
Okay, I think that's fine because, yeah, if I'm not there, somebody else can run the meeting. It's fine.
It'll still be on your August workshop agenda as well to review whatever changes have been made over the month
Okay.
of July.
Sure, that sounds reasonable. Anybody else have a problem with that? No, Charles?
Works for me.
Okay, that sounds good, Jared. Thank you. So no need to go, we're not going to go through this right now, or we are going to?
Lauren has a high level review and there are some feedback from the finance committee of things that we have to give opinions on.
All right, I'll let Lauren take over here.
Okay, so the original budget was sent out to the finance committee and the board, started at approximately an 18% increase. The commentary from the finance committee and some other adjustments that we have made last week and this week, it is now down to 15.2%. I will note that approximately 9% of that 15.2% is the $400,000 increase to your reserve contribution from last year to this year. And the contribution change to CJC because of the CROA drop. That's about $231,000 that they are not contributing compared to last year.
So it's basically $630,000 of that increase are from things, one, we have to up the reserves, and two,
You don't have a say over it.
we don't have any say over either one, really.
Correct, unless we go to a different agreement with the cost sharing agreement, but it currently looks like the proposal from CROA is a $300,000 contribution to CJC, which is a 2,000-ish change.
And I just want
Is that like their,
They have a draft right now that's with their board. It will be on the CJC agenda next Tuesday.
And I just want to make that real clear. If that's what comes through, this is for the homeowners for the record. That means we have to just stay budget neutral. We would have to come up with an extra $231,000, not including the reserve contribution that's required. So the homeowner's going to have to pay at least that much extra anyway.
Correct. So you do have it because you'll have an extra 252 doors out in Island Village Phase 2B that should come online sometime this year. So that will help defer some of the expenditures, but obviously not.
The reality is new doors add new costs. So
Exactly.
it's not like we get a bonus from a new door.
You will likely the center sometime next year and new passive parks. The amenity center has a playground, a pool, and a gym, and the pool is as large or if not larger than Lakeside. So it is a rather large.
Let me put this, try to just make this again simpler for the homeowners. What we have to do,
Mhm.
we have no choice doing, is about a third of the increase we're talking about.
Yes.
there is room though to make changes.
There's.
Oh, yeah. Just based on the preliminary, very first issue.
And I think we should make those changes because we also have, we do have some benefits from last year with the increase in the capital assessment from the home sales. So that is bringing in more money and I think we should take advantage of that. as well when we're looking at the budget and make those changes.
Are you talking about looking to use the capital fund to replace some operating?
The capital contribution.
Yeah, to use some of the, to reduce, to enhance the operating
So in your current budget, you have the capital fund allocation from resales. And then you have the capital allocation that comes straight from your dues.
Mhm.
So the resales is a pass-through, so we don't necessarily consider that when we're talking about,
What comes from dues?
the dues is $500,000.
So that's the kind of money that could be played with.
Yeah, am I hearing that,
Charles?
and maybe I heard this wrong, is the thought to move money from the capital fund to the operating fund to offset the dues increase? Is that what I heard?
No. No, so there are
Okay.
two allocations to the capital fund in your budget. One of them is tied to the resale 0.5%. And right now in the budget, that's at $1.5 million based on the anticipated sales of next year. The finance committee may have a recommendation to increase that sale amount, which would adjust this number, but this number is just a pass-through.
There it is.
So this $500,000 is something that's coming straight out of the operating account as a standard expense, like any other expense item. It's a
Got it.
rather new-ish contribution to the capital fund because it was not something that was done in prior years. Prior years, what was done was basically taking apartment rec fees and using that to increase your capital fund contribution. When we adjusted that, we changed the contribution to about, and by we, I mean the finance committee and the board made the decision to keep that capital fund allocation at around $500,000. So there was continued growth of the capital fund to address these projects that the community wanted.
Okay, so again, to put that in a simpler form, if because that money's coming out of operating, it could into capital, it could just stay on the budget in operating. And that would bring our net increase to
So
about 5%.
that would,
It'd be 10% with the
it
stuff
would
we
bring
have
it
to
down
do.
to a 7.18%.
7.18.
And the reason why I think that's doable is because the capital assessment passed last year. So we're still getting, the capital fund is still growing at a higher rate than previous years when we maybe needed that contribution. Now that we have it growing at a greater rate, as projected, I don't think it is necessary when we have these other drivers that we cannot control. This is something that we can control.
So that's something we could throw back to the committee and see what they think.
So I know they do have some
But we can't-
commentary on it. We talked about it for a fair amount of time at the finance committee meeting. But before diving deeper into that discussion, there were some other adjustments that they wanted to see how that impacted the overall.
Too.
Okay.
Are we confident in the
hear-
resale market? Because again, to that point, that we need the resale market to perform in order for us to realize that the charter enhancement. So that's, and I don't, are we close to where we projected the resales for 2025? Like, are we on track at least for this year?
So if you look at the screen, I pulled up the year by year comparison.
Yeah, good.
So in 2022, we budgeted for 400 resales. There were actually 530. In 23, we budgeted for 450. There were 343. In 24, we budgeted for 350 and there were 342. In 25, you budgeted 350 and we're projected 400 if the current.
And that's on the old,
And no. this-
2025 is new.
Yeah, 2025 is the new rate.
okay.
So 2022 is when you really saw Island Village Phase 1 come out for sale and the sales coming on. You're seeing a similar, based on what Madame is saying, you're seeing a similar sales increase for them in starting in 2025, and they're expecting it to, they're hoping it continues in 2026. Obviously, nobody's gonna.
So that capital resale allocation of 1.5 is considered to be reasonable? Yes.
So, yeah, based on an average sales price of 750, the 1.5 million into the into the capital account is, the finance committee thinks it's still a conservative number.
Okay.
750,000 is the resale amount for all of the zip code 34747. But if you narrow that down into Celebration, the numbers are showing what it was 800,000-ish, 830. So you could potentially kick this to 800 to be conservative, and then you're getting another one.
And again, this swapping of the 500, if we decided to do it, would be a 1-year thing, and then we look.
This year, I mean, to take the hit from the NOAA cost sharing agreement, that's unfortunate, but like, luckily we have different ways to absorb it.
Anything else we need to learn about the budget at the high level before we get into the more detailed stuff over the next few weeks?
No, at the high level, so the board knows, we did include the summer pool program in here, it's security, because we felt it was successful. We did narrow it down into a shorter time frame because they did start a month earlier. So that is one change. The maintenance expenses are increasing.
Well, we discussed that.
Yep.
The last meeting, yeah.
Next year is the 30th anniversary year, so you are going to see founders at a little bit higher level than it would normally, but CCS is going to bear some of that as well on their side. And we'll talk about that when we set your upcoming CCS meeting to discuss your budget. Other than that, electricity, we have a budgeted 5% increase, same with water. We're seeing an increase in need for janitorial supplies. Pool operating and maintenance expenses are in line with the projected. And you do see some increase in IT expenditures, but that's because we have some outdated equipment that needs to be replaced, and they're really more operating expenditures. And we also implemented a technology replacement program this year. So you're going to see the number fluctuate year over year based on the number of machines or equipment that we need to phase out based on their age.
Any other questions? Charles, Jared?
Charles, go ahead first.
So how does the 851, the return to 851, like where do we pick that up? When are we projected to move back in? And I guess hear what, like.
We're rough anticipating a 6-month occupancy of 851.
So we're projecting 6 months of electricity, all that. So all the overhead and everything for 851 move in. And then obviously the 851 revenue that we've realized from, I assume, partner programs returning.
Some 6 months worth of it. Yes.
6 months. Okay. Got it. Okay. Thanks.
Jared?
I was just going to say the committee is doing great because like Lauren said at the beginning, we started off at 18.62 and we're already down to 15.04. So and it's going to go, the committee's goal is to get it to a single digit. I don't know if that's possible, but I think we're going to be closer into the 9 or 10% range. Ray, do you have anything to add on the budget conversations?
Not right now, no. I wouldn't be able to add anything on value, really.
I think a 9 to 10% increase given the challenges we have in these extra expenses would be a very reasonable number.
Yeah, and I think that's what the committee's thinking too. So the fact that we've gone from over 18 and a half to 15 is great.
Mike Jackson would like to comment. See, I can't turn my head, Mike, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think if you get to 9 to 10, if you go after some of the capital funds, whether that's the 500,000 from fees or wherever you want to go to buy it down. I think trying to get to that level, I said this in the meeting, I said this previously. I think it's double digits, low double digits. You're in that range. If you're talking about 8.5, and then if you have a 5% increase of the other operating expenses, you're at 13 right there. So there's not much room. We're at 15 now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's another 100 to 200 basis points we could get without going after capital.
Without going after capital. Yeah.
But you can always go after it. I would suggest, just my opinion is, you don't go after the capital. I think we've got a lot of projects to do. I would be, cautious about going after that. He's got the CDD budget out there at 18%. If we can come into the 13, 14 without touching those numbers, I think that's something you can sell. I also think you need to get something out to the community pretty quick about the canola situation and the replacement fund.
And the requirements, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a good, I don't know if Jared, if Jacob did it or Lauren, but there's a pretty good overview that she gave us in the first meeting. There's a couple of paragraphs in there that I think could be cobbled out and put together and be a good communication. All I need to do is quantify the numbers. So it was just qualitative, quantify the numbers. And I think also add something about the 851 building.
Yeah, and there's a way to spin that easily. The spin is so easy because basically you can say if it wasn't for these required expenses and this deduction from the downtown, if it wasn't for those, your increase would be about 8% or 9% or whatever that number is.
Yeah, and if you say two items that come for 8.5%, and the normal cost of operating some cost 5, 8.5 and 5 is 13.5.
Plus, we got a special year coming up with extra expenses.
Say all those other
Yeah.
window dressing things.
So the summary that Mike's talking about is that budget narrative. I think it's page 2 or 3 of that he's talking about the qualitative discussion.
And I think that there's a way to parse that down to.
2 paragraphs, because we're really small.
Yeah,
There's the second page or something, there's a section in there we pointed out that I think could be put together.
okay. I think that's a brilliant idea
Real small.
because then it eliminates the concerns down the road. And so they're already ready for it.
If you get that out now, you might get a read on the community. It might just get accepted, and then you don't have to go after the capital to buy it down. So it'll give you a little more indication of what your paths are.
So really good idea.
I think
Mike?
if there is communication like that now, which I do think is good, because it, it kind of like it's, information is good.
It inoculates the
page. But I think we have to be very clear that it's not final yet, because I don't want to hear people saying like, oh my gosh, we're getting a 15% dues increase when it's not that. I mean, it could even be more. We don't even know because nothing is final yet. So it could just be more like, this is the draft. This is what we're still working on it. Feel free to come to the meetings and listen in. And, these are some of the like driving factors, which you had mentioned to us, I think would be good.
Mike, thank you.
Well, Ray had something, Jared, hang on just a second.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what Mike already said. Like, if we go after the capital improvement allocation, which if we're able to collect 100% of the dues, is easy money for us to be able to allocate these to the capital fund. We will be putting more pressure in the budget because we have an assumption that we're going to be able to collect $1.5 million from the resales, which is not guaranteed. Like currently, we have a good trend right now that we're reselling a lot of houses, but it's never guaranteed that trend is going to continue. So if we're not able to collect the 1.5 and we already go after the 500,000 that we have from the assessment allocations, that's risky.
Yeah, being conservative is really smart because we could hit a recession without ever.
To that, you need to say, all right, if we are in that type of economy, should we be doing capital projects? That's when things should slow down. And if it gets to something like that, we shouldn't feel pressure to be doing capital projects if we aren't getting.
It's in the capital budget right now, Ray.
And expending?
Yeah, in cash, in capital.
Oh, I'll check that for you.
4.2 that.
4.2, and likely 3 of that is gonna get spent on 851.
But cash, we only have close to liquid, a little bit over $300,000.
No, but I just mean in the funds.
Overall, yeah.
Yeah, 4 million. It's not liquid, but it's, Jared.
I was just gonna say, Mike, thanks for standing up and saying that. I would have called on you. I didn't realize there was someone from finance in the room, so thanks for that. And Don, you gave a 1-sentence explanation of the reason the budget is what it is, and it's that simple. It's those 2 items, and it's easy to explain. So this messaging should be not difficult.
We would like it to come from the board, though.
Oh, I think it should come.
Yeah, we would be happy to draft something for you based on that couple paragraphs from that thing, but we would send it to the board for you to final, and then we can send it out on your behalf.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
One more comment, and the risk of beating a dead horse, the capital resale. Historically, we always use 300 as a baseline, and that was kind of the churn in the regular market. And then when we had some building and expansion things in new villages, we'd always go up as a result of that. So if you take 300 as our normal, we've right now got Island Village gonna build 339 homes over the next whatever. I figured it 3 years. That's 119 new homes per year. So that puts you up over 400 right there.
Right.
In just a regular static market. So I have no concern, no worry at all that we're gonna hit those numbers.
The 1.5,
The one, I think it's 1.6 then.
1.6.
Raise it to 800,000 average price.
But isn't it possible, and again, not to beat the dead horse, isn't it possible that we hit a serious recession and Mattamy sales just,
But look at the reception there is in home sales every other place in the world except Celebration right now.
Yeah.
Because of interest rates and everything else. We're special. This is.
We are.
A captured market for real estate. People want to live here and they come here for that. So we've got a demand. What they say, Jim said Mattamy has 40 some odd townhomes built and 24 are under process and 24 are under contract.
so we feel good for 26. We don't know about 27. All right, anything else on the budget? Guess what?
Great.
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn. Oh, second? All right, we got it. Thank you all for the fastest workshop ever. You two can leave if you want. You're all done if you want.